Apparently that happened today in Dallas, which is pretty tragic. If that's not CGI. Now, one of the reasons I did want to play this is there's so many things going on these days where it makes you question, and people are getting really, really crafty and really, really good at deceiving people. And that should concern everybody. Half the time when you're looking at the screen, you don't even know if what you're seeing is what they say it is. For example, we got all this transgender stuff going on. You can look at these guys who quote transition to become girls, and it's like they legitimately look like they're females. What the frick is going on here? And the women who transform, whatever, the transformers, it's more than meets the eye. You bet it is. You bet it is more than meets the eye, buddy. So you get these females becoming males with facial hair. They're taking testosterone. They got more muscles than a regular male. It's just crazy what's going on. So you have to question everything. And you have to question everything at all times. There's something that Jefferson said. He said the price of freedom, and freedom does have a price. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. And indifference to this notion is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression. What notion are we talking about? Oh, freedom doesn't cost anything. Struggling for liberty doesn't cost anything. Yes, it does. It will cost you everything. Sometimes it'll cost your reputation. Look at all the slanderous accusations they bring against you and how crazy they say you are because you don't believe we put, men on the moon 238,000 miles away in that piece of junk, cardboard, scrap paper, duct tape, baling wire contraption that's supposed to keep out the vacuum of space and keep the people inside absolutely safe in comfort control. So I wanted to show you this to you because if it did happen, it's tragic. If it's CGI, it's classic, because there's so many things that we look at today that is fiction. And that's kind of the springboard of what I wanted to talk about. But before we get into that, there's one thing that David Avocado Wolf said that really, really resonated with me, and it's so freaking simple. He said that he's an avid tree planter. Well, I've planted a lot of trees in my lifetime. Just 5 that I can think of specifically is every time my kids were born, and I have 5 kids, I planted a tree in the yard. No matter, wherever we lived, because we kind of moved around a little bit, but wherever we lived, I planted a tree. So when Hannah was born, in 1995, I planted a tree. When Ariel was born in 1998, I planted a tree. When Gracie was born in 1998, I planted a tree. Josiah in 2000, I planted a tree. And Isaiah in 2002, I planted a tree. And then I went back into that neighborhood. The Hannah, Ariel, and Grace are all in the same yard. And I went back to that neighborhood probably about 5 years ago. And so that means that the trees were, I don't know, close to 22, 23 years old. The little tree, and I've got every single one of them on video. Every one of the planting of the tree, the sprout that came up when it was 2 feet tall, when it was 3 feet tall, I had the camera over it. When I look back at that tree that I planted, it's a monster. It's 40, 50 feet high. Hannah's tree, Ariel's tree is almost as high, and Gracie's tree, even though it was planted 3 years later, they were monstrous trees. And so the benefits to the environment, the benefits to your fellow man, how many people have sought shelter and refuge under the shade of those trees? How many animals were nourished by those trees? How many birds laid their nests in those trees? How many trees did those trees produce? Because, every fall, those little these were specifically the trees that I planted. I don't know why I landed on this kind of tree, but it was a silver maple. So when silver maples, those little helicopter deals come down, those things are so freaking neat, and the wind can blow them into somebody else's yard, and maybe those trees spawned other trees. So I was thinking, when David Avocado Wolf was saying this, and trees are so beneficial to the environment. They suck in carbon dioxide and they throw out oxygen. And they give refuge to birds and to squirrels and to other animals, and earthworms, go into the dirt, and the root structure goes down, and that tap root goes down into the soil so it can get more water. And it's just this miracle of life the design and miracle of life and all the things that you can do. You might think you're nothing, you might think you're nobody, but with the simple planting of a tree, you can benefit so many people for so long. So I was thinking when David Avocado said this, when I kind of was going to bed last night and kind of, dozing off, I was thinking, if I planted 10 trees a year, and I did that for 50 years, that's 500 trees. Now, if 500 of us planted 10 trees a year, that's 500 for each one of us. So 500 times 500 is 250,000 trees, 250,000 trees. Imagine how much you could benefit the earth, how much you could benefit animals, how much you could benefit humanity just by planting 10 trees a year. And I know I've planted more than 10 trees in my lifetime. I can give you 5 specifics. How many trees have you planted? And if you just plant one tree, you have done more for the earth. You've done more for the environment. You've done more for humanity than the so-called concept of government could ever do. Because we know when, quote, government gets involved in things, things go to pot real quick. Prices go up, quality goes down. You never get what is promised by government. So I wanted to put that out there because as I listen to the speakers, as I listen to David Avocado Wolf, as I listen to David Weiss and Caleb today, and Iru, I don't know if and Jaron, and I just listened to Peggy Hall just a little while ago, and I was looking at that video from Ben right before this video, right before I came on, and I'm thinking, man, it resonates really pure with my spirit. It seems like these people are genuine truth seekers. Do we all have everything ironed out? No, we don't. But none of us is greater than all of us. Together, we can accomplish so much, and you can accomplish so much with the planting of a simple tree. Talk about cleaning up your environment. It's just a crazy thing, this miracle of life. And then I saw this quote by Martin Luther. I don't know if it's attributed to him. I don't know if he really said it or not, but the concept still stands. Even if I knew that tomorrow the world would go to pieces, I would still plant my apple tree. I love simple, profound truths like that. How many people can you feed with an apple tree during the course of that tree's lifetime? How many apple trees will that apple tree spawn? How many seeds will go into the ground and germinate and become another apple tree that creates thousands, tens of thousands of apples during the course of its lifetime? So I just think that that's the kind of thing that the deception and the illusion of this life tries to steer you away from. As long as you have a pure and noble heart, and as long as you have your mind set on what the heck is the truth, you'll find it. Seek the truth and you will find it. And that truth will set you free. What's it going to set you free from? It's going to set you free from deception. It's going to set you free from going down the wrong road. And I'm not saying this from any kind of religious perspective. I'm talking human to human. What kind of person do you want to be? This is really what it all boils down to. What kind of world do you want to have? What kind of earth do you want your kids to grow up in?